Emotional laziness in marriage. Most marriages don't collapse because of hatred. They weaken because of neglect. Not dramatic neglect, subtle neglect. Emotional laziness. Let's define that clearly. Emotional laziness is not cruelty. It's not abuse. It's not betrayal. It is the slow refusal to stay emotionally engaged. It's choosing convenience over connection. It's being physically present but emotionally unavailable. And many couples fall into it without even realizing it. Emotional laziness begins quietly. You stop asking deeper questions. You stop checking in intentionally. You assume everything is fine because nothing is on fire. But absence of crisis is not evidence of health. Strong marriages are not sustained by the absence of problems. They are sustained by active effort, and effort requires energy. When couples stop investing emotional energy, distance begins. Let's make this practical. Emotional laziness looks like scrolling while your partner is talking, saying, "I'm listening," without actually listening, avoiding difficult conversations because you don't want discomfort, delaying apologies because pride feels easier than humility, choosing silence instead of clarity. It is subtle, but it accumulates. Sometimes emotional laziness comes from exhaustion. Work drains you, life overwhelms you, responsibilities multiply, and by the end of the day, you have nothing left to give. That is understandable, but here is the truth. Marriage does not survive on leftovers. If your spouse only receives what remains after everything else, connection weakens. Effort must be intentional, not accidental. Other times, emotional laziness comes from comfort. In the beginning, you tried, you pursued, you listened, you were curious. But over time, familiarity replaced attentiveness. You assume you already know them. You assume they understand you. You assume, "We're good." Assumption is the enemy of maintenance. Curiosity sustains intimacy. The moment you stop being curious about your partner, you start drifting. Emotional laziness also hides behind pride. Pride says, "I shouldn't have to explain myself. They know what I meant. If they have a problem, they can say it." But maturity says, "Let me make sure I didn't hurt you." Maturity says, "Let me clarify before distance grows." Strong marriages are built by two people who are willing to over-communicate rather than under-care. Here's something important. Emotional laziness is not loud. It doesn't scream. It doesn't announce itself. It looks like small neglect, not expressing appreciation, not noticing emotional shifts, not responding to subtle hurt, not initiating connection. Over time, one partner begins to feel alone while still married. And loneliness inside marriage is heavier than loneliness alone. Now let me ask you something honestly. When was the last time you intentionally asked your spouse, "How are you really feeling lately?" Not about work, not about schedules, about them. When was the last time you apologized quickly without being forced? When was the last time you expressed gratitude without waiting for a special occasion? If those moments are rare, emotional laziness may be present. Not because you don't love them, but because effort slowed down. Love is a feeling, maintenance is a discipline, and discipline requires choice. You will not always feel emotionally energetic. You will not always feel patient. You will not always feel motivated. But mature love continues anyway. Not aggressively, not perfectly, but consistently. The danger of emotional laziness is not immediate destruction. It is gradual disconnection. Conversation becomes shallow, affection becomes routine, presence becomes passive, and eventually one person begins to say, "I don't feel connected anymore." Connection didn't disappear suddenly, it faded through inattention. So how do you correct emotional laziness? You become intentional again. You schedule emotional check-ins. You put the phone down. You ask deeper questions. You respond with humility. You apologize quickly. You express gratitude daily. You protect the small moments before they become big problems. Maintenance is not dramatic, it is daily. And daily effort protects long-term love. Let me be clear, every marriage will experience moments of emotional fatigue, but strong marriages refuse to stay there. They recognize it, they adjust, they re-engage. They do not allow laziness to become the culture of the relationship. Because culture determines direction, and direction determines outcome. If this message feels uncomfortable, that's not condemnation, that's awareness. And awareness is the beginning of growth. Marriage does not thrive on autopilot, it thrives on intention. Don't let emotional laziness slowly replace emotional leadership, because maintenance protects love, and love deserves effort. If this message spoke to you, continue the Season 2 playlist right here, and subscribe for deeper conversations that protect your home.